So I have graduation photos coming up soon, and so does my nursing class of 2014. We get our photos taken months before we graduate, but anyway, this is coming up in the next few weeks. So I really thought this would be a great time to do a makeup for photography video. Certain types of makeup that you should should wear for photography, and there's also some techniques that you should use when you're having photography done, especially flash photography. A lot of makeup makes no difference what you use when you're just having any photo taken with no flash, but with flashes it's definitely important to look at the ingredients of your makeup products that you're using, and also the way you're applying them, and I guess the type of makeup that you're using. So thanks for watching, guys.
So hopefully you had a really good night's sleep before your picture day. And when you're getting ready to do your makeup after you moisturize and let that set in your skin, look at your imperfections, see where you're going to need to conceal, what color correctors you may need for any blemishes with green, or under your eyes like a peachy color to cover those bags. And also if you have any veins that are, visible over your eyelids, you'll want to conceal as well. And then you want to make sure that you moisturize your lips if you haven't done that already when you moisturized your face. This primer is a really great one. I love using this one just very sparingly. I find if you use too much of it, it will actually make your foundation kind of break up kind of thing, and it won't settle on your skin as well if you only use a small amount. So I'm going to use this concealer to conceal the blemishes that I have, the redness. As you can see, I only need a tiny little amount, and by using a little fluffy brush like this, I find it allows me to apply it very sparingly, only to where I need it. And this kind of works just as like this type of brush would work for a foundation brush, I guess. Like I can put it on, pat it in, and then kind of feather it out around the outside of the blemish. So it's really great to have a small brush like this to pinpoint where exactly you need it, and that way you're not caking on all the extra makeup that you don't need, because in your photography it's going to show up every little thing, and if you're wearing too much makeup and too much foundation and layering concealer and everything else, that will show up on the camera as well as just having like a cake face. So you definitely want to make sure you just apply it where you need to. Obviously I have a lot of redness, so I'm applying it where I feel I need to. And a couple dry patches, which is not good, but there's not much I can do about that right now. And underneath your eyes, if you do have like bluish discoloration or bags under your eyes, you could also like use a peach color, and that would help conceal. So this Revlon Color Stay makeup is awesome. There's no SPF in it, whereas the Revlon Photo Ready, surprisingly, has SPF. We are going to use the Revlon Color Stay instead, and this one's in Sand Beige, and I'm using a F80 brush to apply that, and just like I normally would, just being careful to pat it on where I have concealer. The SPF you want to make sure is limited, because that's what's going to give you that flashback and that white casting in photos and flash photography, and we do not want that. So make sure you avoid SPF for photography as much as possible. So once I get all my foundation on and blended down my neck, I'm taking that same little small brush, and instead of applying concealer like I did previously, I'm just applying some additional foundation that I applied to my face already, but this is just going to build up that foundation so that it covers anything that didn't get covered previously. Then just set it with a pressed powder. This one's really good. Just make sure when you're patting it on, you use like a downward motion when you're coming down your cheeks and stuff, because all those little peach fuzz hairs that you see, if you go in an upward motion, you're going to have them all standing on edge, and you don't want that to show up in your pictures like a really big bearded woman. So make sure you bring the brush down your face. So with this brow pencil, this is the Revlon Brow Fantasy, I'm just going to outline my brows and then fill them in. And if you see any hairs that are stray at the time or anything like that, now's a good time to tweeze them. Get rid of any ones that are sticking off or in the way and stuff like that. This would have been good to do before I started my makeup, so it didn't have redness, but anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in my brows. I'm not doing anything too drastically bold, like a larger brow, even though this is still bold. But I don't want to make them too crazy, because in my pictures I just want them to look more natural, everyday kind of thing. And, you know, it's nice to avoid trends sometimes because you know how things change and different looks come and go. So it's nice just to do what you would normally do to your eyebrows. But make sure they do, you know, make sure they stand out somewhat because you don't want them to disappear in your picture. And then once you're done filling them in, just take a look at eyebrow brush or whatever and comb through to make sure it looks a little more natural and put together. And then if you need to like tame down those big bushy eyebrows, if you have them, and then you can use some clear brow gel and just pat it down and that will be fine. I always like to highlight underneath my brows, especially when it's something special, I'm going somewhere special, or getting my picture taken. And this is just like a nude jumbo pencil. And then you can blend that out with a little accent brush from like this. And it's a creamy formula, so this works really well. So all those veins that are on your eyelids, you probably want to conceal those because they will stand out. So this primer is really great for that. It definitely helps conceal it because of the color, and I like to put it on the inner part of my eye as well, just to, you know, conceal some of that bluish coloration. So I'm just going to apply that all over and then blend it in with my fingers. Then I'm going to set it with a nude color skin color eyeshadow and a fluffy brush. You can use any color that you have, just something that matches your skin tone, and that's just going to help keep the primer stay put. Then I just grabbed a taupey brown eyeshadow, something for a transition color, and it's really nice to stick with all matte colors for your eyeshadow in photography because the shimmery ones will reflect light and it won't be as nice and photogenic. So I'm just doing the same thing to the other side, just blending it back and forth, trying to blend it as I go, but I'm also going to go over everything afterwards anyway with another brush and blend it all together. Then I'm going to take this color from the Naked 2 palette called Tease, and it's a nice purpley gray color which looks really good on the lid, I find, especially with my eye color. I think it would look really, really good on brown eyes as well, but I find it does make my greenish blue eyes pop by the time I'm finished everything. So once I get that put over my lids, then I'm going to take a deeper colored purple, and I'm going to use this color Busted from the Naked 2 palette, and that's going to go in the outer V and into my crease a little bit, and it'll provide a little more dimension. This color has a little tiny bit of shimmer, not really shimmer I guess, but it's not completely matte like the other colors, but as long as you avoid something super shimmery, you should be fine. So here is why I'm just taking another fluffy brush, and I think I might have had a little more of that nude color eyeshadow on it, just leftover color, and that's just where I'm going to go and blend everything all in together. Make sure it's seamless and there's no harsh lines from my eyeshadow or anything like that. I want it to look as natural as possible, but still look like I have eyeshadow on. So a nice little angled brush and some matte black eyeshadow is excellent for putting on like a smoky eyeliner. I definitely prefer this look for photography over a liquid or gel liner because I find it's a little more harsh unless you're looking for a more dramatic look. But something that's like a very natural look is to do a smoky eyeshadow line. And I'm just pressing the shadow into the bottom of my lashes, the very base of my lashes. So it's going to make my lashes look thicker and fuller, and it's also going to not take up my whole eyelid. By doing such a small eyeliner like this and then smudging it out, it just creates a nice gradient smoky eye, and I just think it looks beautiful in pictures and very natural. Now if you wanted to, you can do a wing with eyeliner as well. This angled brush makes it a lot easier. So again, just make a line out and then follow it up to your bottom lash to that corner once you get that started. And you're going to smudge it all out anyway, and by the time you get your mascara and lashes on, if you do wear lashes, you don't have to be too precise. But as you can see right now, it's kind of half done. So I need to connect that then to my lower lash line so that it looks more complete. And then I'm just going to take this smudger brush, and this is where I'm going to buff it out and blend it out a bit. So try to be careful with what eyeshadow you're using so you don't have a lot of fallout onto your cheeks. You can always clean it up after before you highlight underneath your eyes anyway. So once you get both your eyes done, then you can highlight under your eyes and conceal. And this MAC Pro Longwear honestly is the best thing ever for this job. I was going to use a drugstore product to make it a little more, I guess, accessible for you guys, but honestly, this is what I use, and this is what I love, and this is what I love every day. So I'm just going to apply that under my eyes and then blend it out with a beauty sponge. And then once I get all that blended in well, then I'm going to set it with a powder. And I'm going to use a light powder, and this one's from MAC. It's called Emphasize, and I'm just going to pat it on. This is, again, where people go wrong. They use like HD powders, and they use all these white powders for setting under their eyes or their face, and this is where they get the big white under the eye flashback in camera photography, and it looks so bad. And I know it happened to all of us. I mean, we've all been there, but really be careful that you don't use things with like titanium dioxide and HD stuff under your eyes, because HD is great for videos, but for flash photography, it definitely shows up as white. And here I'm just using an angled brush again with the black eyeshadow again, and just patting it onto my lower lash line, because if you neglect them, you're going to look top heavy in your eyes when you get your pictures done. This just helps it stand out a little more, and you can smudge it out as well, so it's not as, you know, I made a little mess, but I fixed it up after I just smudged it all out. It all looks fine anyway when you're finished. So that's the final look for the eyeshadow. You could definitely intensify it a little more if you wanted to, but I love this. I find it makes my lashes look thicker already with nothing on them, and it's just a nice subtle smoky eye. So this is how I do my lashes. I squeeze a little bit of lash glue onto a round bottle, and then I put it aside and let it get tacky for like a minute to 2 minutes. And the lashes we're going to use today are the Ardell Accent ones, and it's nice just to have that small little piece to go on your outer lash line. So this mascara is very, very good. It is a great brush for doing the bottom lashes. It has a little bit of product onto it, so it's easy to work with, and it's great for separating lashes. I absolutely love it, and I've had it for like probably 2 to 3 weeks now, and it hasn't dried up on me. And I'm going to use the Essence bronzer, which I use this a lot as well, and this is what I'm going to use to contour my face. So I'm going to start from the top of my ear to the corner of my mouth, and then just do that under the cheekbone contour. You have to be really careful when you're contouring not to do too much, because it will wash you out on photography, like in flash photography. But if you don't use enough either, then you're not defined. So there's kind of a fine line there. But if it looks natural to you in person, that's probably fine. I wouldn't go too more intense with it. But you definitely want to warm up the rest of your face as well. So that's why I'm going to use this larger, like light brush, and I'm going to bronze the top of my face, like the temples. Make sure you get up in the hairline really, really well, because you don't want a gap between the hairline and the bronzer. And then I'm also going to apply it to the under like my jawline there and down my neck. And this is a great step to use to help your foundation blend between your neck and your face, so it all looks like you're all part of the same person. Then I'm also going to take the same bronzer and use a smaller brush to contour my nose. This makes your nose look skinnier by doing this, so I don't really need it, but if you do have a larger nose, this works great. And underneath, the lip is excellent for making your bottom lip look plumper and fuller. I think it really does work. And then you can highlight a little bit on the top of your cheekbones. And this is just going to draw a little bit more light there and make your cheekbones pop out a little more, so you'll look more structured. But please don't do it on your nose. I mean, people have pulled it off, but I've seen it go wrong more than I've seen it go right, because it makes your nose look shiny and greasy. So then I just peel off the little outer lashes, and I dab it onto the bottle, and the glue is pretty tacky now. So as you're dabbing it on, you're going to see that it is a bit more tacky. Like once you do this a few times, you can kind of tell by the texture of it. So this is good enough, because you want to be able to stick it in your eye and have it stay there, and then be able to manipulate it. And these just go on the outer part of your eyelash, very natural. And once you get it stuck on there like that, then you can play around with it and move it around. So then once you get both of them done, you can always fill in eyeshadow on the top of your lash line as well to cover the glue up if it doesn't completely dry. But you can go ahead and do your blush. This is the NYX Pinch Blush, and I'm applying it kind of to the outer apple of my cheek. And make sure you bring it up to the side of your face as well. Like go along that bronzer line that you made there and make sure there's no gap or anything. You want to blend it all in kind of to one. You want to have a difference between them, but just, you don't want to have a gap in between your blush and then your bronzer line. That would just look really unnatural. So you want to pick a color of blush as well that's kind of like a natural flush color. If you go with something too purpley or too orangey corally, it's going to look more unnatural. But again, if that's something that you like, by all means go for it. Do what you're comfortable with. It is you, not me. So I'm going to take the same mascara again now because I want to do my top lashes once that glue has dried. And just play around with your own lashes there on the front, the first half, inner half, and get them going in the right direction you want them. And then you can join the outer lashes, your own lashes, with those false ones by brushing it out there. So I'm just going to do a few swipes just to blend my own lashes in with the falsies. So I played around with that for a few more minutes, but I didn't film that. But this mascara, I'm telling you, it is so good. So then also what you want to do is apply like a black liner to your tight line, and that's going to make your lashes look thicker and fuller as well. I don't really recommend doing it to your waterline unless you're someone who wears an inner waterline every day anyway, then that's what suits you. But if you are like kind of new to makeup or just wanting to make your eyes pop, I think this is plenty. And then just apply like a natural color lip if you want it to look natural. I wouldn't go with anything again too trendy like corals or anything like that because different times of year and different trends come and go. So I would just go with something that's a natural pink color, the same color as your lip, but maybe a little more intensified. And I like to blot it with a paper towel to make sure it stays on really well. And then just add a little tiny bit of a light lip gloss to the inner part of your lip and the bottom lip to make them look a little more plumper and fuller. And then once you're all done your makeup, you can set it with a setting spray. You can buy them at the drugstore as well. But I do have a Skindinavia one for bridal finishing makeup spray. And that's just going to hold it on for a long time so you can get through your pictures. Bring some powder with you to touch up if you need it. And hopefully this helps, guys. Bye!